Q and Assault. What is going on? Are we live? You hear me? Got my big headphones on today just to make sure I got my mic feedback on. Last time I did a stream on the BDG Dynasty channel, I was talking to myself. Not even. You guys could not hear me for 15 minutes. So ready to go, man. Week 7 is here. Saturday, 2 o'clock, kicking it. We got Nick out with all the BDG guys except for me at the Texas game right now. So I bet you they're having a ball. Let's see what we got with questions here. Jesse Peterson. I'm 2-4 in a 12-team PPR league. I'm third highest in points scored, but have suffered from injuries, regretful trading, and underperforming. I mean, listen, regretful trading and underperforming injuries, I feel like that's the it's like the poster child for the 2024 season, it feels like, Jesse. So you're not alone. Henry, Godwin, and Chase Brown for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jacobs, and Cook suggestions. Okay. So right now, this is a trade you have potentially on the table, I'm assuming. Henry, Godwin. So I have Henry and Godwin in the Your Idiot League Mates League. Really tough to trade off of them. So it looks like here, though, you're getting a package of 3 people back where you're getting Jacobs, Cook, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're kind of getting a 3 for 2, it feels like, if it wasn't for Chase Brown in this deal, though. I think that's probably the part that I'm getting hung up on. Like, it's hard for me to trade off a Henry, period, right now. Nick and I were actually talking about he was trying to come get Henry from me. And I kind of told him that the trade would have to be more than what seems fair on paper. So we never actually got there on a deal for Henry. Henry and Godwin right now, if I redid the draft for the redraft season, I'm probably taking both those guys in the first round, to be honest with you. So I think while it's a good package back, Amon-Ra St. Brown I still have a lot of love for. I actually have him in Your Idiot League Mates too. But I feel like the down tier from Henry to Jacobs is pretty far. Cook certainly over Chase Brown by quite a bit. I mean, if you're really needing depth, I can see making this trade, but I don't know. Chase Brown to me feels a little bit too high up right now because he's getting a lot of work and he's looking pretty good. I'd probably prefer the Henry side, frankly, by a little bit. Okay, add drop trades. Okay, that's just giving me more context. That's what I think of the one there. All right, 1 quarterback league, 6 point per passing touchdown. Would you start Kyler Murray versus the Chargers? Stafford versus Las Vegas, or Dalton at Washington, May at Jacksonville? So the thing is, May looked really good last week, right? But I think I'd probably prefer to stay away from him on the London game if I can. It hasn't been the greatest for Kyler recently, right? But I think I'm probably still just going to trust Kyler in this matchup. I know with the 6 point passing touchdown, you don't have to necessarily have the Konami code running back style or running style quarterbacks, but I think I'm still going to just ride Kyler this one. Dalton's matchup is great, but he hasn't looked quite the same the last couple weeks. I think I'm just going to ride Kyler on this matchup here. That's what my rankings have too, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check. I have someone close, but yeah. So I would be putting Kyler in. He's my quarterback 13 right now. So it's close with Drake May, actually. I have him at 15. I figured May was going to be the closest. All right, so Ferguson on bye. Likely. Would you start Likely or pick up Henry off waivers, full PPR? It's a good question. I feel like it's not a huge difference for me. I have him actually, I'm looking at my rankings right now, back to back. So, but I'm still going to go ahead and take Henry. I think the volume, personally. Likely's role just has not been very consistent and stable. So I think I'm going to take Henry. With Drake May, I think Henry's going to have some really good weeks here to come. So I think I might go ahead and grab Henry off waivers, to be honest with you. Eli was good. 9 or 15 is back. All right, standard scoring. Start 2. Zay Flowers at Tampa. T. Higgins at Cleveland. Jordan Addison versus Detroit. George Pickens versus New York, or DeMario Douglas at Jacksonville. Okay, so starting 2, Zay Flowers. Honestly, I feel like the first 2, I'm just going to kind of let it be after that. I'm not going to overthink this one too much. Addison would be someone I'm strongly considering. I know right now, first of all, let's talk about a couple things. George Pickens, let's say Russ is starting this week, I still feel like I want to see what he ends up being with them, with Russ, and what this offense really looks there. So with him, no, and if it's Fields ends up being the starter, then we've kind of already seen I would rather have a lot of other guys here. I think I'm going to go T and Zay pretty safely. I do like Pop Douglas a lot, but I'm not going to sit T or Zay personally for Pop right now. What is good? Uchenna18. All right, Philly or Chargers defense? Oof. Man, I'll tell you the one thing I don't actually do a ton of homework on is the defensive, but I will give you my take on this. I think I'm actually streaming the Chargers. I feel like I had this ability to pick up on waivers, and I got the Chargers. So I feel like I rolled the Chargers this week, to be honest. 6-0 in both my leagues advancing. Man, 6-0 in 2 leagues has got to feel absolutely awesome. Advancing 83 teams to round 2 of best ball. So take my word if you will. Jesse will stay the course. That team, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with the. Listen, if guy comes in here 6-0 and you're on the same side as him, you gotta like that. Can play 2? Burrow at Cleveland. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Goff at Minnesota. Stafford, Vegas, Russ versus the Jets. Okay. I will say this: the Browns right now are so bad. However, like historically, if you look, Zach Taylor versus Kevin Stefanski. I'm a Browns fan. I'm from Cleveland. I can, as much as it pains me to say that, you probably already know that. If you don't, that's the truth. I can tell you though, the matchup, like Stefanski has had Zach Taylor's number, and it's been like pretty bad, honestly, for the Bengals as a whole when Burrow's playing Cleveland. So that comes to mind, but at the same time, I don't think I'm going to sit him here. While that's probably still going to be the case, and they probably are going to like have a good scheme and game plan in place for them, the offense for Cleveland is so bad right now, and they just traded away Amari Cooper. They basically can't do shit. So what ends up happening is the defense is on the field the entire time. At least that's what the games have been so far for the most part. So even though the defense is a good unit, they can't sustain that type of like just fatigue and always being out there, always having to try to bail the offense out. So I'm going to go with Burrow. I know you probably didn't necessarily ask for all that context, but I was kind of thinking that out loud. And then I think here, man, the next 3 are very tough. I think what I'm about to do is I think I'm going to take Goff here. Goff has not been all that inspiring, frankly, too. But I think I'm taking Goff here. I want to see Stafford get his weapons back, and I really don't know what to make of Russ in this offense just yet. So I'm going to play Goff and Burrow. All right, do I drop Josh Downs or Jonathan Brooks for Pop Douglas in half PPR? So half PPR is a little bit tougher, right? Full PPR, and I love Pop. I would tell you not to drop Josh Downs. I definitely think there's like the weekly difference from him is about as wide as it gets as far as if it's Anthony Richardson or if it's Joe Flacco playing. And obviously a big downgrade for Richardson is the way I view it. Man. Jonathan Brooks out again. I don't know necessarily if we know. I feel like people are not necessarily awake to this, where I think it could take longer than we think for Jonathan Brooks to actually return. And then even when he does, how many snaps are they going to give him? I don't know that he's going to be super, super useful for at least a few more weeks here. So, if you want to make the drop, but I guess in half PPR, I also don't want to be rostering both Pop Douglas and Josh Downs, frankly. If you're going to do this, I would say do it for Josh Downs, personally. I don't really want to drop Josh Downs. Half PPR, I definitely downgrade him versus full, but I don't know. If you're not confident, here's what I'll say. Let me give you a final answer. I'm thinking about this. If you're not confident enough to roll out Josh Downs and you feel like that's not something you're going to be doing weekly, especially with A-Rich at the helm, maybe just go ahead and get Pop and just make that switch so you don't have to worry about Josh Downs essentially clogging your roster. If you feel like you're never going to feel confident starting him, I would go ahead and make that drop. All right. Full PPR. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm about to skip a question. How we feeling about Dogs versus UT today? I kind of want to. I'm very intrigued to watch this game. I wish I was there with these guys, but I'm just interested to see how UT actually holds up. This is their first year, SEC, all that. So I'm excited to watch the game, Alex. Pick 3: the healthy, the new team, the now wide receiver 2, the Flacco-less, and the London boy. All right, Kupp, Amari, Garrett Wilson, Downs, Christian Kirk, and PPR. So you get to pick 3 here. Pick 3. It's like Panera +1. All right. Let's see. So I'm thinking right now, I'm not sitting Garrett Wilson this week at all. No way. So he's a lock for me. Amari Cooper. Next week, which isn't helpful now, if it's next week and he's already got another week under his belt in the playbook, I feel like I'm definitely rolling Amari out here. Kupp, so if Kupp's playing, I'm locking him in. Garrett Wilson, and then my next start, I think grossly might be Christian Kirk. If it was Flacco at the helm, I'm putting Downs in. Without Flacco, I think I do actually reflect this, where I have Christian Kirk ahead of Downs. So that's going to be my three there: Kupp, Garrett Wilson, Christian Kirk. I want to see another week of time go by before I'm rolling out Amari if I have a guy like Christian Kirk personally. I think Amari's going to have a obviously better time there than he is in Cleveland. I think he's going to be good for fantasy. Right now, coming off the week where he just got traded, I might hold off 1 week on that and put Christian Kirk in there. Although Christian Kirk's been so fucking gross. I get it. 16-team league. I have McBride and Kraft. Okay. Traded Kraft for Ridley to get more wide receiver depth. Win or loss? Honestly, I think that's a big win. Now, the reason I say that, and the problem with having the tight end position in general has just been bad. One of the things I've been talking about for a while is its scoring relative to like the replacement players just is not there. Even a guy who's playing as great as Brock Bowers is right now, realistically, it's not giving you a huge advantage versus the field. Obviously, you'd rather have Brock than anyone else. Tucker Kraft's been playing. He showed that 2-touchdown game. He's been playing good, but you'd get nothing for having both these guys. I'm personally absolutely love this trade, even though Ridley's been terrible. And it's not Ridley's fault. I don't know if you guys saw this, but you should go check this out if you have not. Last week he had 8 targets, which 0 of them at all were even close to catchable. Some of them I don't even know if you should actually consider them targets. They're so bad. So it's rough for him with quarterback play, but I think I'm looking to not have 2 tight ends if I don't have to. You'd rather have a flex spot. Like when it comes to the flex, I'd rather have a lot of skill players than the tight end position there. What's good, Patrick? 2 season-changing trades. All right, first is should I trade McBride for Ferguson? Damn, that's a tough one. We were just talking about this when I was in the office a couple days ago. Second and separate trade is should I trade Bijan and Algier for Barkley? Okay. I think I would do the second trade. I would rather have Barkley than Bijan. And the Algier part, I think I'm willing to give up to do so. So, yes. For the second trade. The first trade, if you want to, sure. I think it's probably end up going to just be a lateral move. I do like Ferguson, and Dak has a clear history and propensity to use the tight end position. I definitely get wanting to make that pivot. To me, I'd probably hold just because I'd have a hard time if I make this trade and then watch McBride, who we know is hella talented. And that offense has just been inconsistent and kind of gross last few weeks. If McBride ends up having a great finish to his season, I think I'm probably holding there. The first trade, but I want Barkley in the other one for sure. All right, Braylon Allen, Ricky Pearsall, Allen Lazard, full PPR. Pick one. Okay, you got 2 different pick ones here. Got it. Man, that first one's so much tougher now with the addition of Adams, obviously. I don't feel great about Pearsall yet. Dang, I'm not going to lie, that's a tough situation up there, I'm thinking right now. It's basic, to me, it's kind of like low volume plays of Braylon Allen and Allen Lazard, and which one do you feel better about popping a score? I think I lean still Lazard. Although I don't know if I feel great saying that. I just don't know. You know what? Let me pivot. Let me switch. I'm going to go Braylon Allen because he got a touchdown last week. I think the offense is going to continue to get better. And even if he's getting, this 30% of snaps, he gets a chance at the goal line. He's a guy that can pop along. And I'm going to switch to Braylon Allen there, even in full PPR. Josh Downs and Ramondre. I think I'm actually going to play Ramondre. If Ramondre's playing, I'm playing Ramondre this week. I really like Josh Downs' game. I don't love his role in kind of being a volume PPR guy with A-Rich. So, and we haven't seen it this year. I know Nick and I kind of disagree on that. So, if you want to roll Downs, I get it. But if Ramondre's playing, that's who I'm going with. Half PPR: Pop, Douglas, Wandale, or Downs. Okay. This is a crazy one. You know what? And as a matter of fact, I'm out here forgetting to put this up here. So. This is most asked start sits for the week in the Discord. I was going to organize them so they're not out of order there, but I just got on here in time. So I have to show you here because Pop Douglas and Wandale are on this list, and that reminded me. So I do have Demario Douglas ahead of Wandale by a decent amount. And then Downs for me would still be a little bit behind Pop since A-Rich is going to be playing this week. So I'm going Pop Douglas. But I have this up here. If you have questions specifically related to these guys and you want to see what my ranking is, I'm going to keep this graphic up. My bad. I meant to put that up. But I appreciate White Yaska giving me the reminder by the question. Okay, let's see what we got here. We got a full PPR, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Chase Brown, Bucky, Juju, Whittington, A. Johnson. I think that's supposed to be Quentin Johnson. Kupp, Polk, and Xavier Hutchinson. Okay. So you asked me to pick 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and 1 flex. All right, so let's start with the running back first. Chase Brown, Bucky, and okay, so it's between Chase Brown, Bucky. This week I'm going to go with Chase Brown. Let's see. Then we got 1 receiver. Juju is definitely my sorry. Kupp is going to be the receiver. If Kupp's playing, I'm rocking with Kupp. And then my flex would be Juju. Now, yeah, that's the way I'm going to go with that one there. I think everybody else would be pretty far after that. Like if Kupp's out there, Whittington drops a decent amount for me. I still will play him, but Kupp ahead of him by a good bit. So yeah, I'm going to go Chase Brown, Juju, and Kupp. If something was to happen and, you know, whether it's Kupp or we get news he's not going to play, whatever the case might be, I'm going to put in Bucky would be my next flex. Josh. All right, half PPR. Darnell Mooney versus Seattle or Xavier Legette versus Washington. I'm going Mooney here. Xavier Legette has been interesting. He's got some touch. Like last week I played Nick and he had a touchdown to kind of save his day. But Darnell Mooney right now is somebody, man. I'll be honest with you, Cody. I'm have a hard time sitting Darnell Mooney for anybody. I was just looking at my rankings. I think I have him inside the top 30. So this one's comfortably, let's see here just to make sure where I put him. Yeah, this one's comfortably for me, Darnell Mooney. Yeah, I have him at wide receiver 29. Appreciate the question. All right, we got Mr. Influence. 1. Start 1, running back, 2 flex. Bucky, Kareem Hunt, Najee, Zach Moss, Dubs, Mostert, Juju, and Pop Douglas. Okay, so the running back, I feel really great about Kareem Hunt this week, actually. With the role he's had, he's wearing the different number, 29, not 27, but it looks like almost the same player and is getting the same type of workload. Kareem Hunt for me for sure at RB. The 2 flexes now. Zach Moss would have made this clock closer until last week. I don't know what to make of his injury right now. Okay, the 2 flexes now, Pop Douglas and Juju, I think are going to be close. But the question is, Bucky's right there too. Yeah, so I'm going to go, okay, let me go. I'm going to go Kareem Hunt at the running back spot, and then I'm going to take Juju and Bucky. I'll be honest, though, it's tough to sit Pop Douglas, but the one reason I say, especially in this situation where I would lean that is the London game. I know we saw Caleb have a great London game, but a lot of times those London games end up being uninspiring. They're traveling, they're playing in a different time zone, all that sheesh. So I think that's what I would roll with. Let me get both those Chiefs, the old guys coming off the waivers, revitalizing it, and Bucky Irving. Okay, full PPR. Who should I start at the flex? Amari Cooper, Tyrone Tracy, Whittington, or Kraft? That's a tough one. I think I just talked about how I don't really want to play Amari Cooper if I don't have to. It's between him and Tyrone Tracy for sure. I'm feeling like with Singletary's situation, though, with Singletary being active, I think I'm going to play Amari Cooper. Half PPR. If no Aaron Jones, would you go Ty Chandler or Tank Bigsby? So the Cam Akers trade is honestly really, I know people probably don't want to hear this, or what. It's interesting because obviously after tearing his Achilles again he goes to a new situation, then they trade for him again. And it's interesting because Ty Chandler was clearly like 3rd on the depth chart when they traded for him last year. So I think Cam Akers, while maybe uninspiring for fantasy, is going to make it a little less enticing with Ty Chandler in this situation while Aaron Jones is out, however long that's going to be. And I think right now Aaron Jones is not going to play. It sounds like it's going to be more of a week-to-week thing where he might even miss next week. Dearness Johnson also scares the shit out of me. Dearness Johnson comes in that game, speaking of London, and plays over 50% of snaps after Travis Etienne gets hurt. Like, what? I'm going to take Ty Chandler here by a hair. But I I have my concerns with both Chandler and Bigsby, although I love both the talents. All right, 0.75 per reception. Tyler Goodson versus Miami or Trey Tucker at the Rams. Leaning Goodson. Yeah, Cody, I agree with that. I'm taking Goodson there. I actually went to high school where Trey Tucker did in CVCA, so I'm rooting for the kid, but I don't know. It's when Davante Adams was having this hamstring injury, right? I think that's a lot of fake BS. He's going to play this week, look just fine. And I was kind of excited after Trey Tucker had a good week a few weeks back where, like, all right, maybe he'll become something. I think right now this whole offense, maybe outside of Jacoby Myers, is just stayaways in the receiving game. Obviously, Brock Bowers too, but as far as the actual receivers go, yeah, I'm going to take Goodson there. Goodson actually got a decent amount of run. He's only playing 40% of the snaps, but he's a guy that's going to catch a lot of passes. JSN, Addison, Pop, Douglas. I think I have JSN still. And I'm going to be honest with you, though. He's one that's getting on kind of like, I don't know, high alert for me. Like him and Addison are back-to-back in my rankings, 24-25. So I lean Addison here. JSN is also a guy I'm just going to say he's getting on alert, meaning like, I don't know. He had that 116 target game, but the most of his other game logs, and when you watch, I've watched 3 of the full games, and just what I've watched of Seattle, his role is kind of inconsistent, and he just doesn't feel like he's getting the type of usage consistently that I want to bank on. I think the talent's not meeting up with what the future production probably could be too. Yeah, I'm going to go with Addison here. It's a close one. Those are 3 guys I'd like to get in my lineup. What's good, Liam? All right, if you had Adams and Garrett Wilson, do you believe that it's possible to play them together? Absolutely. Okay, so this is actually, you know what's funny? This is a good question, and one that my answer probably differs from a lot of people. I think when you just think about this as a strategy, holistic question, if you have both, right, the reality is I think why people want to trade one away and only have one is, let's say in this hypothetical scenario, you traded away Garrett Wilson. So now you have Adams, and let's say you get I don't know who it would end up being. Just hypothetically, this has no reason to be the person in the trade. Let's say it's Mike Evans now instead. So now it's like, okay, on a weekly basis, you could have Evans pop off and Adams pop off, and that's more likely than, the combo both popping off at the same time since they're in the same offense. The thing is, though, the floor also comes down drastically. So there's also a very good chance, let's say you made that trade where now Evans has a down week, and then let's say for whatever reason, I don't think a ton of down weeks are coming with Adams and Rodgers back together. He's probably going to absolutely pepper this dude with crazy amounts of targets. But if Adams could end up having a midweek or a low week, and then so could Evans, I think the reality is that Adams and Garrett Wilson for me are going to become much like the duo in Philly, where I don't care about having both. I like having both, which is A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I have in your idiot league mates, and everyone keeps trying to tell me to split the pair. I have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So I like that, actually. And Chris Godwin and Mike Evans a perfect case scenario where actually, for the most part, Evans will have some down weeks. Godwin's been pretty rock solid, though. And if I just put both of them in my lineup, I'm also guaranteed pretty much to get one big-ass week out of both of them. So I personally like it. I think it raises your floor to have both, and it gives you a slightly higher ceiling to have the split. But I think the floor is a lot lower when you split it. So I'm going to actually roll with I think Rodgers can support Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams for now. And then I guess the other thing is like that's in a scenario where it makes sense. Now, like if it's an even trade, I'm not looking to necessarily just do that just because. If you get a deal it's too good to pass up, sure. So it would obviously depend on who the player is coming back. But just as like a standard strategy question, that's my answer there. All right, Cody. Last one for me. Stick around and ask more if you want to, but no worries. I got you. Full PPR. Tucker Kraft against Houston, who's allowing the 5th lowest yards to tight ends, or Dalton Kincaid, who's facing Tennessee and have only 27 yards to tight ends in 5 games. Yep. I mean, okay. Both the matchups, as you kind of alluded to, are not the greatest. I try not to put too much stock into that unless it's a situation where the tight ends are super, super close to me that week, which these guys are. I'll tell you what I'm doing here. I'm playing Tucker Kraft, and it's probably not a super, I don't know. People may have a problem with that. what I have a problem with is Dalton Kincaid. I'm just all offseason I was kind of pushing back on him being such a great value in production. I do a ton of Dynasty content. So like in Dynasty, I get it. He's a young tight end everybody wants to invest in and have on their team. They feel like they have a tight end one, let's say, for 5 years plus. But like he's been anything other than a tight end one. And then I remember watching last week where Dawson Knox catches the touchdown. And it was just kind of funny how the announcers could not see who caught the touchdown at first. And they're kind of like, is it Knox? Is it Kincaid? And it was almost like there was the way in which it was said, they're hoping it was Kincaid. It ended up being Knox. And I don't know. His usage, the way he's been, I think the scenario was going to be now with, like, is he going to be the only one that you're catching passes from? Is he going to elevate in the offense? The Amari Cooper trade is only going to hurt him, I believe, long term. So I'm taking Tucker Kraft. The matchups aren't great here. I don't feel awesome about either. But I have Tucker Kraft at 8 and I have Kincaid at 10 for the record. Appreciate you stopping by, Cody. And Mr. Influencer One says, thank you for your time. Of course, man. Happy to come kick it with the big dogs and big girls, man. All right. Which running back or tight end would you sell Chubb for? Oh, I'm sorry, Chubb. See, look at me, man. See the jersey behind me? I read that as Chubb. That's how I don't want to talk about it. It's probably not going to do that well, but I'm excited to hopefully have him come back, and I'm praying for a miracle. Would you sell Chuba for? It's a good question because I'm bullish as I could possibly be on Chuba Hubbard. I think right now the way I'm viewing it is this. The reason I'm probably not going to trade him for someone that's reasonable and I'm going to end up holding, I don't really think Jonathan Brooks is going to come back as they're really not going to be in a position to rush him back, right? I don't think Carolina is that competitive, and all teams want to win every week. I don't think they are so naive to believe that they're super competitive right now either. The reason I say that is when he comes back even, I think they're going to work him along slowly, and Chuba Hubbard is balling out of his mind. This offense I talked about a lot in the offseason with Robert Hunt acquisition. The offensive line is really good. It's just the first few weeks we couldn't see anything because Bryce Young and this offense was disgusting. Chuba Hubbard's been balling. And for me, I'm viewing the running back position as if we get later on in the year and let's say Chuba Hubbard now with Jonathan Brooks' return eventually gets down to a workload where he's not as inspiring of a start, there's probably going to be so much other attrition to the position, meaning other guys getting hurt, to where if you're active on waivers, I think you can kind of just make the swap. Instead of making the swap in a trade, you can end up finding yourself a somewhat of a plus option out there if you're just being diligent about trying to not overspend every week, kind of keeping yourself a nice little stash so that when the right play, the one that you want to make the bet on, comes available, you can kind of go unload the clip. So that is a long-winded way of telling you why I'm holding Chuba, because right now he's smashing, and that's going to help me continue to advance. And then in the future, I'll worry about replacing him when the position probably has a ton of attrition to it. All right, full PPR, 2 and 4, playing the guy with Denver defense, 40% chance to win right now. Okay, did he have a pretty good he have Javonte Williams or some shit on Thursday? Who do I start? Flex, Pop Douglas, Amari Cooper, Xavier Worthy. I have Pop Douglas here. Again, if Amari Cooper was a little more acclimated and not had just been coming off this trade, I would be playing him. But listen, man, I like Pop Douglas. I think right now he's going to be the clear one for Drake May, and he looks to put a lot of life into the offense. Nick was talking about this week, I don't know if you guys caught this, on an episode I was on where he talks to a lot of the beat reporters, and one of the beat reporters said that they're going to start when they go to 2 wide receiver sets, putting Pop Douglas in for that. So if that's the case and he's end up 2 wide receiver sets locked in, basically he's going to be playing on the outside, 80+% of snaps, Pop Douglas is going to start going up my rankings a lot if that ends up being true. Kirk, Cooper, or Harrison, pick one full PPR. Goodness. The Marv thing is interesting, isn't it? Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. This is a tough question because any which way I try to answer it, I feel gross. Kirk has been so uninspiring, and just Ingram coming back and getting 10 targets, doesn't seem to bode well for him. Man. I think I might play Marv here. This is a tough question because I feel like my upside is capped at all of them. I think I'm going to play Marv. Full PPR. Choose to Smith-Schuster, Addison, Dobbs, Amari Cooper, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyrone Tracy. Okay. Addison. I'm going to go Addison and Juju. Although Juju and Amari is pretty close too. I'm gonna go with Juju and Cooper are literally right back to back in my rankings as well. I'm gonna go with Addison and I'm gonna go with Juju, despite my lack of trust in Juju. I forget exactly how many days, but it was over 1,000 days before Juju had a game with, I think it was north of like 6 catches and 100 plus yards. So I'm a little bit leery of if this is going to continue. Coming out of the bye week especially, do they try to get a guy like Xavier Worthy more involved? That's a little bit of my hesitation there. But sometimes, like the Chiefs, at least when I think about Kareem Hunt and Juju, there's just a level of comfortability that they have with both those guys. And if Patrick Mahomes is going to try to use Juju in the Rashee Rice role, I think I'm just going to roll with that one more week. If you wanted to put Amari Cooper in, I wouldn't fight you at all. They're super close. All right. Kyler. Sorry, I think I skipped one here. My bad. I'll get right back to you, though, Uchenna. All right. Need Poston. Oh, sorry, Brian Poston. Need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Okay. So Cook, Pollard, Hunt, Mason, St. Brown, Higgins, Downs, Juju, Brian Thomas Jr. Okay. So you're looking at, let me see here. I'm playing Cook. This week now with him being activated, I'm definitely playing Cook. Ray Davis, I think, has earned some reasons to get more touches, but James Cook wasn't a guy that, in my personal estimation, that needed all the touches anyway. Pollard isn't a set it and forget it. And honestly, so is Hunt. Damn, Jordan Mason. This is low-key like a flex squad. Like, you're flexing for us here. St. Brown I'm playing. T. Higgins I'm playing. Goodness gracious, brother. So you're talking about you got to sit one of Juju, Brian Thomas, Mason. I think I'm playing James Cook, Pollard for sure, and I'm playing Hunt. And then I think this is going to be tough. Sitting BCJ is not something I really want to do this week, but I guess I will. I'm going to go with St. Brown, T. Higgins. I'm going to go with Hunt, Pollard, Cook. Those are going to be my 5 for you. Okay. Kyler or Purdy, one quarterback. Dang, it pains me to say this because I want it to be Kyler, but it's Purdy for me this week. By a decent little bit. I have it 8 versus 13, I believe. Yeah, 8 versus 13. Okay. Brock Purdy. Kyler's, I don't know. Something about this Arizona team just kind of doesn't leave you feeling all warm and fuzzy. Tay, so you're looking Devontae Adams, James Conner, Rome, or you're looking, this is a trade question. So Tay, James Conner, and Rome, or Deontay, Demont, and Brooks. So I'm looking at this, right? I would rather have Tay than Deontay. I would much rather probably have Monty than Conner because of just, I don't know, seeing Conner pop up on the injury report, and he's always missed at least a few games this, going back like several seasons now with his injury history. And then I definitely, at this point, I am so concerned about Rome. I have him in your idiot league mates, and like an idiot, I have just been rolling him into my lineup weekly, being like, all right, we're going to see some of these big games come. He's had the 1 week, and everything else since has been kind of just trash. And this last week, he had two targets, 2 catches for 40 yards. Keenan Allen's involvement really scares the shit out of me. So with him, it's like I think we need, obviously, in this offense with Shane Waldron, him to be the 2. And that's dependent on Keenan Allen being hurt. So I think I would rather have the lottery ticket of Brooks, although I'm not necessarily that high on that, as opposed to Rome. Give me Deontay, Demont, and Brooks, I think, here. Full PPR, choose 2. All right. Juju, Addison, Dobbs, Amari Cooper, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyrone Tracy. Man, it's a good thing I put this sheet up, I think. Tyrone, I don't think, was on the list, but I did put Wan'Dale on there so everyone can see that kind of where I have him. So if I'm picking 2 here, dang, it's funny. I think you guys are having a lot of the same ones. This is why Nick wanted me to put this up. I got Juju. I'm sorry. Actually, no. I'm gonna like this is gonna come down to the same question as last time, where it's between Juju and Amari by a hair. I'm gonna play Addison, and then I'm gonna play. I lean Juju, but Amari wouldn't. I wouldn't fight you on Amari Cooper. Just this week is I'm a little bit worried about like how many snaps he's gonna play. I think they're gonna get him involved. They're gonna have some plays where he doesn't have to do anything crazy. He doesn't need to learn the new playbook. But I think I'd rather wait a week if I could. So I'd lean Juju, but if you want to roll Amari Cooper, I would not fight you at all. I bought into the Cade hype this summer, have him in Sanat in tight end premium dynasty league. We'll see how it plays out. Drafted Kincaid at the 604 and Sanat at the 304 rookie draft. Yeah, I mean, I will say in dynasty, Cody, one thing to keep in mind is like I've been pushing back on this for a while because I initially bought into like I was really big. I bought into the Kyle Pitts hype way too much. I made some bad trades acquiring Kyle Pitts for. If you look back, it's just ungodly stuff. I think I traded actually 3 first in that summer where he was coming off of his 1,000-yard rookie season. And his individual case aside, it's a lot of times we see rookies pop off for a small window. Their production's not even really that great, but because they're young, we start projecting them to just pencil in steady production. I think that's actually one of the easiest ways to kind of re-roll and flip value is kind of selling on some of these young tight ends when their value gets to like you could debate whether or not it's a peak. Sam Laporta last year was a perfect example of defying the odds where I would have been telling you like sell Laporta, he's getting too high. He went all the way to tight end 1. But now again the thing is with him, I sold him all off season and I'm pretty sure I don't have any shares left. But basically with Laporta you get to the point where now with him, is he going to be the tight end 1 that like is by far and away better in the field? So in general, I think that process works. Thanks for your answer. Yeah, I was looking if I could trade Garrett plus Brian for a superstar running back or wide receiver. Okay, that's a different conversation. Now, if you can get a 2-for-1 and that's really going to help you, let's say, plug up a serious hole, then I would probably be much more for the 2-for-1 type trade. You're saying – no, never mind. I misread this. You're talking about tiering up. I mean, if you can go get like – I guess it would depend who you're talking about specifically. But if you're telling me you can go get like one of the premier players in the game, yeah, I would probably be about that. I just think Garrett Wilson actually is going to be better. I think he's going to end up being a lot better for us in fantasy now. The volume may come down some. It's only natural that it is, but – they were using him super uncreatively. It was a lot of short, slants and forcing him the ball with not a lot of upside on those plays. I think we're going to see some shots downfield. I think even if his targets come down a few a game, which they should, I think his efficiency and upside goes up tremendously. So I would have to be getting someone that you feel like is just kind of in him territory. Like you can't replace a guy like him. No problem, guys. No problem. Appreciate all y'all being here. Happy to do this. All right, need 2 receivers, 2 running backs. Oh, I already got this one. Okay, my bad. I clicked the wrong. Look at me out here clicking the wrong damn shit. Or actually, no, you posted it again. You got me. All right. Thoughts on Mooney this week. Would you start Harrison, Kirk, or Cooper? Man, y'all do have a lot of the same questions. I think in this one I said Marv earlier for someone else, unless you asked the same question too. Full PPR, 2 running backs, 1 flex. Dobbins, Brian Robinson, Achane, Bigsby, Mason, Try Tracy, Cooper Kupp, Darnell Mooney, Juju Wandale. All right. So 2 running back part is going to be if Brian Robinson's playing, you have to play him, I feel like. The only reason it's tough is because so he missed last week. The week prior, he actually had 2 touchdowns if you go back and look versus the Browns. But he was used on not that many snaps, I guess. It was really weird. They had I can't think of the guy's name now. McNichols out there some, and then Eckler was playing too. So I don't know what his snap share is going to be if he's out there. I guess my biggest thing is, though, this matchup is just – is he going to be out there to get 8 touches, 10 touches? I want Brian Robinson. And then, man, Achane versus Dobbins this week is tough. My heart wants to say Achane, but – I'm looking right now just in my ranks to just make sure. I think I'd go with Dobbins there. So for the second one for the running back, then the receiver is gonna be. Oh well, it doesn't have to be a receiver. It could be a flex. Okay. Kupp or Brian Robinson? If Kupp's out there, I'm a roll Kupp. Or I'm sorry, not Brian Robinson. HN. I think I'd roll Kupp if I know he's out there. If not, I'm putting HN in there. Okay. Last question, I think. No, we got a couple more. Okay. Full PPR, 2 running backs in a flex. David Montgomery, Gibbs, Kareem Hunt, Bigsby, HN, and Wandale, 12-team league. Okay, Monty for sure. I'm playing both Monty and Gibbs. Yeah, Monty, Gibbs, and Hunt. Just right off the rip, I'll just play those guys. HN, it's tough to sit HN, but I have him in your idiot league mates. I have him in a couple leagues. I'm playing this week where I have to, but I would love to wait till Tua comes back if I have the options, which I think you do here. I think it's Kareem Hunt over HN for me. But at the same time, dude, if you like, I'm not gonna sit here and fight you if you want to play HN. So I get it. Let's see what else we got here. Last question or 2 more? Start 5. Start 5. You got 6. Okay, I gotta sit 1. Kupp, DK, Deontay, Hill, Tank, and Pickens. I am going to sit Pickens here pretty easy, I think. I mean, Tyreek's been super uninspiring too, but I want to see what this offense looks like. If Russ actually starts, I want to see what that looks like with him and how much better or not better Pickens really looks. What his usage goes to. I think the thing with Russ is I'm optimistic. I want to see it first. Is he's a guy that has a really good, like, if you remember those moonball shots he used to take a lot in Seattle, and if you watch him in Denver too, that he can really put the ball on a guy really well deep down the field in a contested catch situation. So I think that bodes well for a guy like Pickens. Do we think Kupp or Hawk plays this week? It's hard to say. I think Hawk might. I think they both could, yes. I really don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I've been answering all these questions trying to say I believe. If I didn't, my apologies, but I meant to. Like, I will play Kupp if he's out there, and if not, this is who I'm playing instead. If Kupp doesn't play, I'm picking 2 of these. Let's go with. I mean, I could end up overlooking Jordan Mason. I guess I'm a little bit nervous of. Jordan Mason to me has already started to look a little less superhuman than he was in the early part of the year. I think he was always a guy that was really getting crazy volume. So even if that volume comes down a little bit, I'm a little more worried about him. I think in a full PPR league, I'll actually play Kareem and JSN. If this is a half PPR league, I would definitely play Mason over JSN in that scenario, though. Yeah, no problem, Jacob. Appreciate all you guys, all the big dogs, big girls. Last question of the day. Claxton Haas asked earlier. I apologize if I missed this, by the way. I was scrolling through. I thought I got everybody. But if I missed you, I apologize. But here, I'll get this one for you. Full PPR. Ertz, Eckler, Andrews. Also Geno or T-Law. Man. Got some, like, right now just underperforming in the real world of the NFL for sure for them. I just said Daltz. Schultz is, I have him in your idiot league mates, and it's like I'm hoping that something's going to happen better for him with Nico not there. Last week the targets were there, but again the volume, the overall just production was not. Man, Andrews been looking a little bit better. I think I lean Andrews here. I'm not by all means like all the way back in on Andrews at the old what we thought he was going to be. But it looks like he might be ramping up to become a better option weekly. Ertz has been okay. I think I would go with Andrews, though. And then it was a rough week for him last week. Him and DK were just not on the same page. But I'm going to play Geno. I'm going to go with Geno. T-Law to me I don't know. There's something about T-Law that I just can't. I don't want to if I don't have to. You certainly could here, but no problem, Matt. Appreciate all you guys. I hope everybody got their questions answered. If listen, I'll say this too. If I missed your question by accident, put in the Discord at me at ATM. I promise I'll get you covered on that. And I do see bye week blues. Need 1 quarterback to stream. T-Law, Stafford, or Jones. 4 point per passing touchdown. Let's see here. You know what? Just I would Probably it's T-Law, but just because I said how much I don't want to play him, I might play Danny Dimes here. I might play Danny Dimes here. If Puka, if Kupp's back, I could definitely make the case for Stafford. Obviously, that would be a little bit dependent on that scenario there. I know it's gross. I know you don't want to watch the Giants, but I would give I might give the nod here to Danny Dimes. Appreciate all you guys. Again, if I missed your question, go ahead and just at me in the Discord and Big Dog Chat. See you guys. Actually, Nick will be back here next week. He'll be back from his hiatus, having a ball over in Austin. So he'll see you back next week. Love y'all. Peace.